The soccer field is Jonah's spot to get away, a place where he doesn't have to worry about all he's been through. This is where his story is being written now. But to be honest, it's a miracle that he's out here at all.
As many of you know, I was adopted, but what you probably don't know is the reason why.
This is the letter that Jonah wrote in 5th grade for the DARE program. It's where he revealed the struggles he faced at birth. His birth mom was found doing drugs in the hospital parking lot. He had a stroke at birth. Doctors said he'd likely never walk or talk, and he was diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
As a baby, I went through drug withdrawals and seizures for about 9 months.
The letter he wrote that day was a chilling reminder of what he'd been through. Experts had every reason to believe that he wouldn't be where he is today, but the doctors obviously hadn't met anyone quite like Jonah.
Bonus, and that puts a smile on my face, but to know he's overcome all this stuff and he could be dead, it's amazing.
He is the example of everything that a coach talks about with his team. So many coaches talk about hard work, they talk about perseverance, they talk about fighting through things, they talk about all those buzzwords. And Jonah, he's living it every day. I mean, what he does, I don't think can necessarily be quantified.
Call it what you want, a miracle, an act from above. Jonah is lucky to be alive. Today, Jonah is healthy as can be. He's a happy, active, hard-working teenager. His story is still being written, and so far, he hasn't let any hurdle slow him down.
No, I feel like my life's pretty good, perfect, actually, right now, because I love my family, my friends, and just like the environment that I'm in.
But let's go back to the early morning hours of June 15, 1998, when 13-year-old Maurice left his girlfriend's home on Toledo's West Woodruff Avenue, turned up Wade Avenue, and headed toward his home on Elmwood Avenue. But young Maurice didn't make it home. He was brutally murdered right here in the middle of Horace Street in central Toledo. His body was found at 4 in the morning, a bullet in his chest, 4 in his head. The young teen's shoes were removed, his pockets turned inside out. He was badly beaten. A few bottles were collected nearby. A bike, thought to possibly be Maurice's, was found in a dumpster. But there were no witnesses, no DNA to this horrific crime. One day later, a caller to Crime Stopper said he had overheard a conversation about a known drug dealer, Aaron Pettis, killing Maurice as payback for a robbery of his friend's house on East London Square.
There was no defense. You know, there was no defense. And that's a lot of, I think, why we found it the way we did.
And then he added words that Willis and Brady have been waiting to hear.
However, having read back through everything, seeing the recanting of testimony, seeing some of the things that weren't presented back then, some of the evidence that's missing, you know, finding out about a lot of different things, I personally would love to see them get another opportunity to plead their case.
Willis did have firearms on his person.
Oh, something I didn't do! Oh, something I didn't do! Take him out. Man, what's something I didn't do? Oh, what's something I didn't do? Man, what's something I didn't do? Oh, what's something I didn't do?
The chemo has been horrible. It's the worst thing I've ever gone through.
I was gonna try loading it for you.
We're in a position we can do it. It's nice to give back. We do a lot of business in Toledo. We have a lot of customers. It's just nice to be able to help out.
It means a whole lot to me. I don't ask anybody for anything. I want to do for myself. And the fact that I just can't do the daily things for myself, and for someone to come in and take that big lift off of my shoulders, it's just a big relief.
These guys work hard, and and they do great work. We got good guys. We're blessed with the kind of people we have.
I thought they would stick right there.
You can't say enough. Thank you. That's all I can say.
6 singles, 2 starters.
I got 6 singles.
And one day maybe I can do something for somebody that has done for me.
Here, come here.
Need the door open. Go ahead. She is alert. She's ambulatory. So that's a huge bonus.
Let's get back there and secure first.
All right.
After searching for almost 24 hours, emergency crews and dozens of volunteers in Woodville located 68-year-old Judy Bartell. We were right beside police and fire crews when she was found.
We found her. She's fine.
Judy, found by her nephew lying in the woods, he says she was just taking a nap.
So I just grabbed her up and I just started screaming, I found her, and I held her until they got there.
The search conducted by emergency crews from multiple area departments, along with nearly 100 volunteers from Woodville.
These are the heroes right here, guys. We did it.
All ecstatic when Judy was finally located.
Everything looks good.
And what started as a scary situation for the entire community,
Good deal.
now turning into an incredible story of everyone coming together.
You guys are the real heroes.
Been cooped up all winter, and it's time to get out and get outside and do stuff. Try and get down at the beginning of the run, but it usually happens right around my birthday, which is today, the 22nd. So it's just been kind of a tradition. I take the day off work and come down here and try and take a couple fish home. The road's closed up there, and we fish that a lot. It's just like flat rapids area. But all the ice jams, they've got the road shut down, and there's a path over there. There's been a few people going. We're gonna go check it out. You have to cross the river to get to an island. You can only get there when the water level's at a certain level. Depending on the water level, it changes where you want to be, where the fish are gonna be, or where it's easier to catch.
What happens when you fall in the water? It's pretty slick out there. The current's up pretty high.
You're meeting people from all over, and you know, everybody's here for the same thing, for fishing, and it's just a cool event to be part of. It only happens a couple months out of the year, so it's just something you gotta get up and get out here and do.
Everybody's trying to figure out which color is best, and nobody knows, so try them all.
There's just so many fish. There's not very many places that there's this many fish in such a tight area. Plus, it's just a unique experience to fish like this with this many people. Hopefully I can catch some birthday fish and go home happy.
Sometimes life throws us curveballs. There's no rhyme or reason for some of the challenges we face, but life is what you make of it. And for Aiden Green, he's chosen a path of happiness, even though you couldn't really blame him if he was bitter.
After so long, you kind of just learn, live with it, and it's how it is. So why not just be happy and live a happy life instead of be upset, like, why did this happen to me?
What happened to Aiden is hard to explain. He was born with arthrogryposis. It's a rare disorder that affects 1 in about every 3,000 live births. Essentially, his legs were twisted like a pretzel and he couldn't bend them properly. He's gone through 10 surgeries to straighten his legs. He's got limited use of his right leg, and a few years ago he made the difficult decision to amputate his left leg because the pain became so great. But it's never stopped his love for sports. In fact, it's never stopped him from anything. Aiden is a sophomore at Anthony Wayne, and he badly wanted to play sports for his school.
Part of the reason why I did track is so I could do something with Anthony Wayne, because there's not many options, because I can't do football, I can't do basketball, can't play hockey. So after a little bit of research, we found track and figured out that you can do it with your school.
My goal has always been to make sure he's as much of a part of the team as possible.
It's what he wanted. He just wants to be part of this. Anthony Wayne's such a good school system, and they do so well at sports, and he just wants to be part of it.
So as a freshman, Aiden started track. His coaches had never coached a seated athlete. He'd never been on the track. It was a learning experience for everyone. On a chilly April day, you can find Aiden grinding, pushing himself to get better, never complaining, never backing down from a challenge, just like everyone else, which is just the way he wants it.
I think one of the things I'm proud about for the whole team is the reaction to him isn't much of a reaction, meaning it's not a big deal. He's just another team member, and that's just how they see him. And when we have meets and he's racing, they cheer him on like anyone else, and it's so for me that's nice. It's not the team and Aiden, it's just one team, and he's part of that.
I am just as bad as any other sports parent. You'll see me on the sidelines screaming erratically for him to go faster, push harder.
It's been a lot. It's been the fact that I can kind of feel normal, not be so just outside of everybody else.
Just how the school's embraced him, it's really helped with his studies, everything. I mean, it's all around, not even just on the track.
Last year, Aiden got so good so fast that he qualified for the state track meet down in Columbus. As a freshman, he took 3rd place in the 100 meters, 4th place in the 400 and the 800. His goal is to get back to Columbus this year and finish even faster. There's no blueprint for life. No one tells us exactly how this thing is supposed to go. Life's funny that way. But maybe we can all learn a lesson from Aiden. A little positivity goes a long way, and he just keeps knocking down every challenge that comes his way.
I mean, we could have easily lost everything.
Diana Van Winkle has been married to her husband, Mark, for 30 years. In November 2013, 4 months after back surgery, doctors discovered that Mark had a slow-growing infection in his back. An infectious disease specialist was called.
He didn't think that it was airborne because either somebody touched their face or their hair, or something went into him, or it could have been from the hardware that they put in.
What followed was months of hell, days of the same ritual, hours of having powerful antibiotics pumped into his body.
I didn't leave the house. I mean, I didn't go outside. I basically didn't leave the chair that I lived in for several months.
There is no way to say for sure what caused Van Winkle's illness. "15-year-old Peanut is in a heated custody battle along the shores of Lake Erie. The latest battle for the miniature pinscher raged recently at Island Safe Harbor Animal Sanctuary in Port Clinton.
I mean, I'm here to pick up my dog. There would be no reason for this woman to keep my dog. None. She has 50 dogs back there. I want my dog. He's 15 years old.
Deborah Parker, a retired nurse who runs St. Francis Animal Sanctuary in Vermilion, has gone on the offensive against the dog sanctuary and its CEO, Nancy.
Monday through Friday, that sound is common in parts of East Toledo, as Miss Mary and her team of 16 teens work to clean up their neighborhood.
And the job was teach them how to do landscaping and beautification, and at the same time teaching them neighborhood neatness counts and neighborhood pride.
They maintain abandoned and unattended lots. Some are so overgrown the weeds are waist high. They mow, weed whack, trim trees, and more. bagging and stacking what they clear as they go.